Hi there folks, welcome to RRTV's live coverage of the Skip Barber Monday Lights Racing Series, coming to you live tonight from Mount Panorama, Bathurst. And as always with me in the booth is Alex McCullough. Welcome Alex.
Thank you Bernie, great to be back. Welcome everyone viewing tonight from the great Mount Panorama circuit as we come for the final round of Season 9 Monday Night Lights. Bernie, what a journey it's been, and a great field assembled here tonight.
Yeah, it certainly is a huge field once again. We had, four splits tonight, 72 drivers I think the last time I saw lining up, and four splits of 18 drivers in each.
Yeah, fantastic lineup again, and once again we've cracked it for the second highest strength of field for the week. We've cracked the 4,000 mark again with 4,147, Bernie. That's an amazing lineup again tonight with some fantastic names, and I expect this track and this field to put on an amazing display tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty awesome, that's for sure. And if the last race is anything to go by, there's going to be a little bit of action out here tonight as well. But let's have a look at our point score, because it's coming down to two drivers now, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely is, Bernie. We've got Luke Whitten making every poster winner this season, so to speak, in first place, with Kevin Henderson in second. Those two mathematically both have the opportunity to win tonight. Obviously Luke in the prime position with just this race remaining. Håkon Grebstad, newcomer to the series this year, at least in running it end to end, is sitting in third place. He's fighting off a fast finishing Jeremiah Morton and Dennis Fiedler in rounding out your top five. Then it's a veritable who's who of the local and international Skippy community, filling out your top 20, Bernie. But Kevin Henderson with everything to play for tonight. Mathematically, as I said, if he grabs pole and wins it, he will actually jump Luke for the win. But so, like I said, everything to play for young Kevin, and I'm sure he'll be wanting to put his best foot forward.
Yeah, definitely. He's pretty keen to take this season if he possibly can. I know he's had his eyes on it for a while. Now, basically, if Kevin wins it and Luke bins it, Kevin's in with a shot here.
Absolutely, a win it or bin it night for Kevin and Luke. So Luke's was in 9 points ahead, and Kevin with the sum of his drop rounds and what have you taken into account, if he wins it, he grabs 9 points at best, and the bonus point for pole position will see him take it out, Bernie. So, providing that all comes to play, it would be quite a magnificent result for Kevin, it has to be said.
Yeah, well, he's got a fair bit of work ahead of him by the looks of it. Having a look at our top 10 at the moment, well, actually, yeah, it's going all over the place. For Josh Anderson, well, no surprise there. He's got provisional pole. Dennis Johansson right behind him at the moment. Then we've got Jeremiah Morton provisionally in third in qualifying, with Andrew Welter fourth. Josh Burden sitting in fifth at the moment. Timu Vascalampi sixth. Luke Whitten's qualified so far in seventh, with Tim Galkridger eighth. Kevin Henderson sitting there in ninth at the moment, with Jeff Rayleigh in 10th.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's a who's who. It's a tough field to get into as well. David McDonald, our US friend, has snuck into the top split with car number 18 with an I rating of 3,200, if you can believe it, Bernie. Really tough crowd. That's relegated our P5 for the championship, Dennis Fiedler, to the second split tonight. And I was speaking to Dennis just before the race, and he was not necessarily going to be too disappointed, because he figures if he's going to advance, he might get some better points in the second split potentially, because we score all the way down to the fourth split with more points on offer in the first split, Bernie, but the other splits can all score points, and certainly the higher up you do finish in those fields, the better points you get, of course. So, but having said that, Josh Anderson sitting on provisional pole, as you say, he's my unofficial king of skippies at Mount Panorama, Bernie. He's been really quite dominant in most of the racing that I've seen him do here this week, Bernie, and right with Dennis Johansson right behind him, they should be putting on a fantastic show for us tonight.
Yeah, they certainly will, and I've just started trading paints, folks, so the paint should update shortly. We're riding with Kevin Henderson down Conrod Straight here. So far, he's just into the 2 minutes now as he's approaching the chase. His target, of course, 229.210, but he really needs to be at least 230, 283 to be in front of Luke here as far as qualifying goes.
Yeah, that's right. He's got a tough order. Luke's got some great pace around here. His second lap will be the difference, of course, but surprisingly only down in P7. I know I have a lot of trouble just hanging on to Luke around here, so hopefully he'll get a good run in on his second lap as he's been bumped down by the early finishes. Russell Clark jumping up to P5 provisionally, Bernie, as the rest of the guys start finishing their second lap.
Yeah, well, look at that. Even though Kevin Henderson did improve, he's out of the top 10. So is Luke Whitten. Well, no, Luke's in second. Kevin's been bumped all the way down to 13th, so he's got a heck of a lot of work to do if he wants to take this season out tonight, that's for sure.
Yeah, Luke Whitten with a fantastic lap, jumping all the way up to second and splitting Josh Anderson and Dennis Johansson there. That's a fantastic effort. Having said that, he was still about 0.4 of a second off Josh's time, which is quite a margin given the standard of these drivers. Interesting to see Dylan Shepherd, who carved his way through what was his first race of the season at Oran Park last week. Car number 17 all the way down in P18. I didn't catch if he set a time or not, Bernie, but that'll be interesting to see if he has a similar performance to what he did last night and making his way through the field.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on him and Dylan Shepherd, that's for sure. But let's have a look at our grid for tonight, folks. Josh Anderson starts from pole position. He set a time, 228.956. Luke Whitten will start out of second. Dennis Johansson, he's going to be out of third, accompanied by Tim Gowcridger in fourth. Andrew Welter, he'll start out of fifth tonight, with Jeremiah Morton in sixth. Out of seventh, we've got Russell Clark, followed by Hakon Grebstad. In ninth tonight, Josh Burden and Timu Vascalampi. Then we have David McDonald starting out of 11th, Arturo Amro out of 12th. Out of 13th, Kevin Henderson, followed by Tim Hendrickson. Jeff Rayleigh, he'll start out of 15th, beside Cameron Dance. But he told me how to do it. It's Bart in 17th, followed by Dylan Shepherd in 18th.
Yeah, it looks like Dylan didn't set a time, so he's certainly got his work cut out ahead of him, Bernie. But again, be interesting to see if he can repeat that performance of last week. It should make for an interesting race anyway.
Certainly will. And as Bart Matanovic, I think he told me to pronounce it. So sorry, Bart, I got it wrong once again, but you know that. So here we go, folks. Final round of Skip Barber Monday Lights. Revs are rising here at Mount Panorama, waiting for the green flag. We're under green now, and we're away into Hell Corner for the first time.
Yeah, expect big things from this field, Bernie. The previous race was nice and high in terms of the strength of field as well, and they all got it messed up on lap one. Bernie spread the field out quite dramatically. I'm hoping this time the guys will get their acts together and put on a great display, as we know they can do.
Yeah, well, as they come up Mountain Straight for the first time, we'll jump to Blimp Cam, because no doubt we're going to see one big... well, I couldn't go to Blimp Cam, it's flown away, but you get the gist. It's one big trail up the top.
Yeah, they've gone too wide into Griffins for the first time, Bernie, in a few places. They're getting messy. There's a bit of chat on the server already, Bernie. There's a bit of action throughout the field. I heard a bit of crashing and banging. Oh, right at the back. A
big crash down here. It's claimed 4 drivers. So we'll jump back and have a quick look at that as that unfolded. And it was pretty nasty. Dylan Shepherd was definitely one of those. So was Cameron Dance and Tim Hendrickson were all involved in this.
Yeah, just trying to pick it up, Bernie. I might have to leave with you for a minute while I find that incident.
Yeah, it started with Tim Hendrickson, and who's the number 10 got into the back of him and turned him into the wall. So that was Cameron Dance into the back of Hendrickson into the wall. We've got the 17 also in trouble. And Dylan Shepherd, of course, into the wall heavily. The other car affected, of course, was Bart Matanovic. There you go.
But Martinovich, it makes it a tough night starting at the back there, Bernie, when everyone of this calibre all thinking they can advance themselves way through the field. Bernie, 4 cars out like that at turn 1 essentially makes for a tough night, but pleased to say that certainly the top half of the field's got through okay, and we've got plenty to look forward to.
Yeah, we certainly do. And as they come down for the first time, Josh Anderson's leading the train. Dennis Johansson right behind him. Luke Whitten tucked in, having a look. Thinks twice about it. Then Andrew Welter sitting in fourth. Where's Kevin Henderson? People may be asking. He's way down here in 13th position. So his chances of winning this season is evaporating lap by lap.
Certainly is, Bernie. He hasn't managed to advance anywhere through the field at the moment. The gaps, as it's just a distinct pack, I should say, starting to form out of the top 5 cars now, Bernie. They've got a small gap over Jeremiah Morton and then Russell Clark straight behind him in 6th and 7th respectively, Bernie, with the top 5 now 7/10ths, depending on how they use the draft up Mountain Straight, whether they stay line astern and trying to increase that gap, they might just be able to get away.
Yeah, well, it's definitely looking like it. We're riding with Andrew Welter up here, up Mountain Straight for the second time. You can see the 3 ahead of him fighting now. Dennis Johansson on the outside of Josh Anderson. Hanson's going wide. He's going to lose it. What about? Yep, Welter's got him as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. Dennis Johansson leaving it on the outside of Griffin's there, costing himself 2 positions as well as a shot at the lead there. I'm thinking that perhaps Dennis, knowing Josh's pace around here, will be trying to disrupt him as much as possible, because if Josh gets half a sniff of a gap, he'll be away, Ben.
Yeah, well, we saw that last race, didn't we? He got away and no one saw him again. In fact, I think we've seen that in the last couple of weeks. Josh Anderson has just been unassailable once he gets out the front.
Yeah, it's great to see him back in a Skippy. I know he's done a variety of categories, and he's a very, very strong driver, one of the best in the country, or the club, I should say, and it's great to see him back here at the mountain. Like I said, in my books, unofficial king of the mountain around here, pace to burn, and he's putting on a great display already.
Certainly is, as he leads them across the top of the mountain for the second time tonight. 9 laps to go. Doesn't sound like a long way, but of course they're lapping in the 2:30, so it is definitely a long way in a Skippy around here.
Yeah, absolutely, Bernie. They'll duck down to the 2:28s by the time the race is over, but it's great to see the top 10 now all in a big group, all separated by just over 4 seconds for the top 10, Bernie. Not a lot of space to squeeze in 10 skippies, but it's great to see them all combined at this stage.
Yeah, we can see now we're riding with Hakon Grebstad as they come into the chase side by side. He's got, who is that beside him? The number 5, Josh Burden. Josh deep under brakes. He's not going to fall for that one, and Hakon has to drop back into line.
Yeah, great defensive drive there from Joshua. Not only did he save the position, stave off Hawkon and save the position, he didn't lose touch with Russell Clark, who's car number 16 here. Is currently, he gets the yips through the final quarter there, Bernie's run wide. That's opened up a gap now, Bernie. That bottom 3 of the last 10 there, top 10 I should say now, have dropped off that pack, and I can't see them catching from here given the standard, Bernie. So that's a costly mistake for Russell and his compatriots or his competitors who are riding with him at that stage, Bernie.
Yeah, definitely. In between Team Milo and Ovaltine, it looks like Ovaltine's a tastier drink so far.
Yeah, it does. Hawkon, of course, making the return trip down here from cooler climes, although it's summer over where he is in the Northern Hemisphere, of course. He's currently sitting in P8, putting pressure on Joshua Burden again, who, like we were saying, pulled off that dramatic defensive move now. As the guys up front now going too wide. Andrew Welter going around the outside as they head through the cutting again now, Bernie. It's all happening up front.
It certainly is, and we've got a train going up the mountain of about 6 cars here. So looking at our top 10 as they stand, folks, we've got Josh Anderson leading, Luke Whitten, Andrew Welter sitting in 3rd, followed by Dennis Johansson. Then we've got Tim Gaukriter there in 5th, Jeremiah Morton looking for having a good run tonight in 6th, Josh Burden 7th, Hakon Grebstad in 8th as Luke just picks a wheel up over the top. Timu Vascalampi having a fairly good run in 9th, and Russell Clark in 10th position.
Yeah, that unfortunate mistake again for Russell cost him dearly at this stage, but there's a battle within a battle going on at the moment out there, Bernie. Jeremiah Morton in P6 has a mini battle with Luke Whitten going in P2 at the moment for the ANZ Club Championship overall. Each official season, of course, has an overall winner, but each club has a little battle in amongst themselves to see who can take out the highest official point score for the season. Luke Whitten and Jeremiah Morton currently sitting P1 and 2 and looking to grab some healthy points out of this race, but certainly at this stage Luke has the upper hand.
Yeah, he's going for a double celebration tonight, isn't he? It looks like he may tie in the Skippy. Oh, who's that coming in here? Timo Vascalampi making a big move there, and Josh Burden does it. Josh comes for the undercut, doesn't work now. Hakon wants a crack at this, and he's going the outside. Tell you what, they're going 2 wide, 3 wide down here into Murray's.
Oh, I'll tell you what, there's going to be interesting. Hawk-on discretion, the better part of Valour there. Both Timu and Joshua forced to take a narrow line. That'll give Hawk on the undercut through into Hell Corner now as they head around on the start of lap 4. No, again, he backs out of it, deciding that the run up Mountain Straight will be more important there. And Russell Clark, meanwhile, sitting just in front of Arturo Amro, sitting there all the way down in P11 now as this little battle pack continues on lap 4, Bernie.
Yeah, so we've got one battle pack of 6 and another one of 4 behind them, and we can see them coming up the mountain once again. Josh Anderson leading Luke Whitten. Luke's just tucked in there, so is Dennis has learnt from last time not to go wide because Andrew Welter, he's all over the back of him.
Yeah, well, Andrew actually stepped aside down Conrod last lap, Bernie, and let Dennis Johansson go by. I'm not sure if he got a slowdown of some description, or it's hard to find a slowdown up there, or whether he just decided that he was going to sit in behind Dennis. A bit unlike Andrew, though. I'd have to ask him later what happened, but certainly this front pack of 7 now, running hot and heavy over the top of the mountain, Bernie.
Yeah, and then we've got another 5 being led now by Timo Vascalampi as they come across. Josh Burden's just sitting behind him. Hakon's still there, so is Russell. Arturo now is joining the party. He's managed that gap and jumped on the back of them. For those wondering where Kevin Henderson is, well, he's down in 12th at the moment, number 12 in 12. Then we've got Bart Martinovic and Cameron Dance. The 4 retirements tonight, we've lost David McDonald, Tim Hendrickson, Jeff Rayleigh and Dylan Shepherd as Kevin catches the wall on the way down the mountain.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how many of the what look like to people bumping walls around here actually just netcodes. This track's notorious for giving the appearance of hitting walls, but guys not actually hitting them. Surprised to see Kevin a bit off the pace now, sitting nearly 2 seconds behind that second pack there at the tail end with Arturo Amro. Not sure if he picked up any damage earlier on or he's just pottering around, but certainly I suggest his shot at the Monday Night Lights this season's rapidly dissipating, Bernie, although I know that he's been finishing 3rd the last couple, so securing second spot will certainly put a smile on his face, no doubt.
Certainly will, but it's not over yet, because if Luke, not that I want him to, but if he actually binned it, then Kevin might be in with some sort of shot, but at the moment it's all Luke Whitten here in second, defending from Dennis Johansson and then Andrew Welter. So we've got the royalty of Skippies up here in the top 3 or 4, maybe 5 or 6 or 7 or 8.
Yeah, all the way down to P6 of that front pack. Timo Vascalampi just took Josh Burden into Hell Corner for the run up Mountain Straight, Bernie, but he's just going to get swallowed up by the trailing pack here. Hawk-on moving to the outside again in the tail of Josh Burden, but they're going to go 2 wide, 2 by 2 here almost, Bernie. He's really squeezed him on the outside. His Timu pulls back into line. Hawk-on and Russell Clark now. Ovaltine and Milo side by side through Griffin's Bend. Bernie, is there anything better?
Dare. I prefer Dare.
You like the Dare? I don't mind a bit of move myself, but each to their own.
As they come across the riding with Timo Vascalampi coming up the mountain again. 6 laps to go. He's tucked right in behind Josh here, showing the nose, but of course there's not really anywhere he can make this move yet. But he'll probably tuck in now, won't he, all the way down to Conrod Straight.
Yeah, you're right, Bernie. There's really nowhere to pass up here. It's a matter of survival. A lot of guys will make time through the run down the mountain, Bernie. It's a good place to actually gap someone if you get a good run and they struggle a bit, or make up ground alternatively if you're behind. But your two big passing opportunities, as you suggested, will be down Conrod Straight, where the draft really kicks into a great extent, Bernie, and then once again your safest passing spot after that will be up Mountain Straight into Griffin. So those are the two smart places to pass. Everywhere else comes with a high degree of risk. As I'm riding on board Andrew Welcher at the moment, Dennis Johansson and he going side by side down Conrod. Luke now defending from Dennis Johansson there. They nearly went 3 wide, but they're really putting it on, Bernie, as they head through the chase.
Yeah, they certainly are, and we saw from the road cam there as they came through. And what sort of top-end speed would they be hitting down Conrod, Alex?
Well, when you're in these and you're in the tow, Bernie, they tap out at about 215 k's an hour, Bernie, in fifth gear. You start hitting the limiter there and thereabouts, and on a good day with a good draft here, you might reach that. The only other way to do that is if you drive them off a cliff. They're not high-powered machines, but they're a lot of fun to drive.
Yeah, I don't know how fun they'd be driving off a cliff, but each to their own. So we see now Luke Whitten jumping out behind Josh Anderson. He's going for the move here. And what's Dennis doing? Dennis is following him. He thinks Luke's going to make this move, but Dennis is going to be hung out to dry here. No, he tucks back in to cover off Andrew, and it's Luke that gets hung out to dry.
Yeah, well, Dennis learned from his move earlier on in the day, in the race, I should say. Now tucking right up inside. Luke making it too wide as they head up into the cutting. Luke will get the inside run now. That's great driving there. Great strategy. Both of them looking to take advantage of the other through the complex series of corners. But here's the risk they run, Bernie. Josh Anderson now to a half a second gap, and Luke will be trying to get some momentum up to see if he can't grab back onto that draft in full force and hang on to the back, Bernie.
Yeah, and the tow in these are absolutely phenomenal. Last race I think it was Hakon, he came like 4 car lengths back, and just the tow brought him back into the fight. And as we see now, Joshua and Luke putting 2 wheels over the edge there on Skyline, living on the edge, so to speak. And then we've got Dennis Johansson waiting to capitalise, and of course we get the banging of the cars coming through. But as you said, that's probably just the drums.
Yeah, absolutely. You'd see a lot more impact on the cars and dramatic slowdowns if they did actually make contact, Bernie. The draft in these cars that you're referring to, whilst the aero on these, the wings are not purely for decoration, they don't have a great effect, so the draft isn't as big as it is in some of the other aero-based cars. As Luke Whitten now pulls out side by side with Josh Anderson, take the lead down Conrod Straight, Bernie. Dennis Johansson now. He's going around the outside of he's got to get the inside run into the chase, Bernie. He's got a 2-for-1 deal going here. Luke and Dennis going side by side through the chase this time, setting up Dennis for the inside run into the final corner, Bernie. Look at Josh going from one to the other, nowhere to go. He's looking to maybe sneak through on Luke on the inside here, or perhaps wait till his next opportunity up Mount Straight, Bernie.
Yeah, I think he's going to just wait, because 2 by 2 as they go across the line once more. I think we're around about the halfway mark here, Alex, but Dennis is still hanging on the inside. Now he tucks back in and waits for the tow, but I reckon Josh is going to have a bit of a run here. I tell you what, Josh has not run away with this race tonight.
No, there's been a lot of smart racing out there. They really only went 2 by 2 where it didn't count so much other than to vie for position. And the two of them really defending in tandem against Josh running away from this, forcing him to sit behind with nowhere to go and have to take big risks. They're not going to go 3 wide into Griffin's here, Bernie. Josh going up the inside now, leaving Luke to hang on drive. Dennis Johansson running wide. Oh, he has taken the wheel big time, Bernie. Can they get through unscathed? That's a real shame for Dennis, but what a moment in the race.
Oh, he's still, though he's out now. Let's go and have a look at that replay. Oh, my goodness me. I think I'm going to need a coffee after this. I'm so hyped up.
Oh, I'll tell you what, if you get a chance, grab the cockpit view and see what that front left was left in a state. I'll tell you what, Bertie. Big mistake from Dennis. I'm really surprised there. His calibre of driver, you don't see that once, let alone twice in a race, Bernie, and the dramatic results, he'll be very disappointed.
Yeah, well, he started that slide coming in, and we know once you get that going, there's no coming back into pedigree. But I tell you what, that wheel just caught, and over he goes.
Yeah, the walls around here are deadly, Bernie. They'll bite you, and they'll bite you hard. So it's really unfortunate for Dennis. But the race continues up front now with Josh Anderson holding off a charging Luke Whitten now. Andrew Welter sitting in third. Tim Gorkrocher doing a fantastic race. He's found so much pace this season, Bernie. He's been remarkable. And then Jeremiah Morton sitting in P5 now on the back of that front group. They've broken out, if you can believe it, to a 6.5 second gap to that second pack. That just shows you the difference once that draft is broken, how these front guys can really break away from what is a really high quality field. But then once again, that gap just exploded more or less once they did it, Bernie. Quite amazing.
Yeah, and one other thing that exploded was Dennis Johansson. But look at Luke now on the grass, and Josh has made that move. Andrew Welter's also going to capitalise. So is Tim Gorkrocher. He tucks back in, and Jeremiah's just sitting at the back. But while you're calling that, Alex, we went on cockpit cam with Dennis, and yes, that wheel did catch pretty hard into that fence.
Yeah, look, I was watching on Dennis's stream. For those that you were interested, it's probably a bit late now, it'll be a bit uneventful. Dennis Johansson is streaming. If you head over to Twitch TV /RaceDriver77, you can see what remains of Dennis's race. But I'll also recommend that for regular viewing, because Dennis does put on a great show, and he's very good to watch and learn from. But it was pretty ugly anyway. But they're going 2x2 yet again. Bernie is Andrew Welter now. Goes to the outside of Griffins now. Josh Anderson making him pay, as we know that outside line from experience, even just tonight, Bernie, is hard to take. Andrew Welter now staving off Luke Whitten as they go too wide on the approach to the cutting this time, Bernie. Lap 8, just the balance of 3 remaining now, and the fight well and truly on, Bernie.
It certainly is, and it's getting more and more interesting as these laps tick by. You can see now Josh Anderson is trying to put the foot down to gap them. He's getting a little bit of a gap now over Andrew Welter and Luke Whitten. Further back though, we've got Timo Vascalampi here. He's getting picked on, I guess you could say, by Josh Bird and Hakon and Russell Clark there in their chocolate drinks. And then we've got Arturo still on the end. As far as where Kevin is, he's now dropped down to 13th and he's in the pits. So his night's gone from bad to worse.
Yeah, obviously we didn't catch what happened to Kevin there, but certainly he's run at the top. Oh, there's a moment there from Timo. I think he might have clipped the wall there for real, Bernie. Just trying to see what happened there, but he certainly lost the position. Seems to have carried on okay, so it may not have been too much damage there. He's carried on okay, but certainly lost a position over the top of the mountain, Bernie.
Yeah, I'm just having a look at the replay here of Kevin Henderson as he comes over towards Skyline now, and 2 wheels up, looking good. He's binned it somewhere down the bottom. That's my pick, because he's lost it. Oh, yeah, that'll do it. He lost it coming down towards the dipper there, and got sideways straight into the wall, Alex.
Yeah, there's only walls up there if you're not on the track, Bertie. It's funny, you're unfortunate for Kevin there, but you're either on the track or you're in the wall over the top, Bernie, and it's a shame to see Kevin's racing his season in that way. But I know when he reflects on his season overall, he'll be very happy, but it's very easy to lose the rear end over there, Bernie, and put it in the wall. Surprising mistake from Kevin, but he seemed to be a bit off his game tonight, but he's got the season to look back on fondly, Bernie.
Yeah, he certainly does. And once more, would you believe it, 2x2 as they come up at the end of Mountain Straight here. This time Luke's trying the outside, and again he's hung out to dry, and Andrew Welter takes the lead from Josh Anderson. Now Josh is jumping to the outside here, tucks back in, starting to think he might have been trying to do a Murphy there, but now there is contact, and that's Tim Gorkrocher into the wall just up after the cutting.
Yeah, very tough to go 2x2 through there, Bernie, and Jeremiah Morton making his way through the cutting and forcing Tim Gorkrotcher to take the outside line. The rear of the car can become very loose as you apply the power through there, and it's very easy to clip that outside wall. Looks like that's been the fate of Tim Gorkrotcher after that. And it looks like he might have even touched the wall as he continues around. No doubt trying to salvage something out of this race, Bernie. He may have to go to the pits. That rear right looks like he might be carrying a bit of damage.
Yeah, well, he actually got an overlap with his front wheel there on the back of Jeremiah Morton's, and of course they touched, and as you said earlier, there's nothing but wall waiting for you around here, and Jeremiah put his signature on one.
Yeah, absolutely, Bernie. Do you know what I've just noticed about this field, Bernie? It speaks to the quality of the Skip Barber racing community in the Australian-New Zealand club. You know, in this amazing 4,147 strength of field, there are only 4 international drivers. The remainder are all Australians. In fact, the Australians fill out the top 5 at the moment. Of course, it's a local favoured track, but like I said, it's amazing to talk to the strength of the Australian skippy community when we can field a strength of field like this. And 2x2 through the chase, Bertie, with Luke Whitten and Andrew Welter. It really talks to the great community we have down here, but and a great racer to boot.
Oh, it's fantastic, isn't it? It's always been a pleasure to call the skippies, but I tell you what, it's just... The send-off we've got for this season tonight is just fantastic as they go across on the last lap now. Josh Burden, Josh Anderson leading, Andrew Welter, Luke Whitten, then Jeremiah Morton. Tim, where's he going? He's still limping around. Then we have Russell Clark now, and he's leading Timu, Josh Burden and Arturo, but we've lost Team Ovaltine. He's dropped right off the back of these guys.
Yeah, he's had a moment somewhere, Bernie. I'm just trying to find it. I'm having trouble with my replays tonight for some reason, Bernie, but he's dropped, as you say, he's dropped right off, unfortunately, and that looks to be an end to his competitive night in that second pack.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised he's dropped off. They're going 3 wide, 2 wide now into the chase here on the replay. What's going to happen to Huck on here? He's going on the inside of Timu onto the chase. And, oh boy, yeah, they touched wheels and Timu got escort. Well, he didn't get escorted, but he chose to skid off the track and gather it back up again.
Yeah, it looks like, as you say, 2x2. The narrow line through there is really hard to take, particularly if you clip the ripple strip on the inside, which he did, sent the rear out, and he just got pushed from behind, unfortunately, and as I said, ended his night in that pack, Bernie.
And here comes the top 4 across the mountain for the last time tonight. Josh Anderson's leading. Andrew there as I hold my breath, and Jeremiah Morton starting to get racy on the back of Luke Whitten. He's wanting a top 3 out of this tonight.
Yeah, like I said, those two, the battle within a battle. Great to see Jeremiah actually make his way through that front pack to be competing head-to-head with Luke. I don't know the details of how close they are in points. I think Luke might just be in front at the moment, but Jeremiah looking to get in front of that official championship. Andrew Welter makes an early run down Conrod. Perhaps even Josh lifting there to get a better Luke now. Going the inside, looking to get the run. They're going to go 3 wide, Bertie. What's going to happen from here?
I don't know, but it's going to be fun. Here they go, 3 wide in here. Luke's on the outside. Josh under brakes heavily. Luke's going with him here. And what's Andrew going to do? I tell you what, this is getting flashbacks of V8s at Bathurst. But here we come into the final corner. It's anyone's. Jeremiah Morton's diving to the inside, and he might snaffle. Oh, contact.
Oh, big contact. Jeremiah Morton. Oh, my goodness. He's not going to be popular amongst the boys for that, I don't think. He's hit the leader, and he's taken his other 2 compatriots out. Jeremiah for the win tonight. Andrew Welter limping across to grab second by the looks, with Luke Whitten third. Josh Anderson limping across for fourth. Really, what a finish to the race.
And we'll go and have a look at that replay, folks, and we'll try and dissect exactly what happened here. But tell you what, coming from nowhere to it.
Yeah, look, I was watching that unfold, and you had 2x2. They opened up and just left enough room for Andrew Welter to squeeze into the middle to make it 3 wide there. Jeremiah then cutting right over to the left, seeing to what he could make of it. Andrew Welter backs out of it. Jeremiah, very late braking, gets into the rear. Didn't leave himself enough braking room because Josh will have braked early there on the inside line, earlier than perhaps you would expect. Jeremiah not catering to that and getting into the rear of Josh. That spits Josh out into Luke on the outside, who was minding his own business, taking the appropriate line for that position on the track. He then spews across. At the same time, Josh, also the front of his car, then running into Andrew, who cops minimal damage, is able to continue with a slightly better momentum. Oh, man, weaves his way around Luke and grabs second position, Bernie.
Yeah, and we're just having a look. Even on slow motion, he was carrying a heck of a lot of speed, and basically gives them all a bit of a heave-ho there.
Yeah, look, it's unfortunate. When you're 2x2 through a corner, at least in my experience, Bernie, the guy on the inside is always going to brake earlier than when they're on the racing line, the pure racing line, because you've got less of an angle, you haven't opened up the corner, and you've squeezed it. You really have to brake a lot early if you expect to make that corner successfully, let alone with a car on your outside. And looks like Jeremiah in this case has just misjudged that. He's the furthest on the inside, so he should, in theory, be going the slowest. He's probably thinking he's hoping to get Andrew at best there, but I mean, he hasn't even locked up, so it's a big misjudgment there, or miscalculation of speed, and getting into the rear of Josh, who was odds on for a great win there, unfortunately, Bernie, and he's brought it home in fourth, so he's minimised his losses, but certainly a rough ending.
Certainly was, and if there's any consolation for those three involved in that, they didn't have far to limp those cars before they could get out of them. If that had happened a lap before, it could have been all sorts of bother.
Yeah, look, it would have been certainly more unpleasant for those involved. But like I said, I suggest Jeremiah was. It's just a misjudgment. These things happen. It's a racing incident. There would have been no intent or malice there. Just a misjudgment, and certainly shook things up at the end. But like you said, they all managed to limp across the line in this case to salvage the results that they could.
Yeah, and Jeremiah is pretty happy with that. He was trying to do some drifting in a skippy, and of course we know the result of that. Not that spectacular.
No, they don't have a lot of power to drift in there, but doing some sort of wiggle there, although, I don't know if I'd be celebrating too much after that.
Oh, well, he might be biding his time, staying in the car.
You think there'll be a few waiting for him in the pits there?
Yeah, I reckon he's just going to stay out there till the truck's ready, then he's just going to drive it in the back and tell him to get him out of there. But let's have a look at our final result tonight. Jeremiah Morton for the win, all right. Up 5 positions. I think he took those on the last corner. Takes the win from Andrew Welter in second. Luke Whitten, he finishes in third, and Josh Anderson has to settle for fourth. Tim Gaucritcher comes home in fifth, followed by Russell Clark in sixth. Then Arturo Amro comes home in seventh, followed by Josh Burden in eighth. Hakon Grebstad from Scandinavia in ninth position. Timu Vaskalampi finished in 10th. But that guy, as we call him, and that's his new nickname as far as I'm concerned, finishes in 11th. Dennis Johansson, I wonder what swearing in Scandinavian sounds like, but I guess the people on the stream might have found out. He finishes 12th tonight. 13th, Cameron Dance, followed by Kevin Henderson, the last of the finishers. Then our retirements tonight were David McDonald, Jeff Rayleigh, Tim Hendrickson and Dylan Shepherd.
Yeah, look, just trying to catch my breath after that, Bernie. Quite an eventful finish, spectacular in its own way, of course. Kevin Henderson, P14 tonight, sees him out of the running for the championship, of course. That honour goes to Luke Whitten, so congratulations to Luke on taking it out. I'd suggest at this stage that Kevin will hang on to P2 with Hawk on his challenger. Only, let me just see, where did he finish? He scored points, I think, in P9, but not enough with drop rounds into account. So that'll be... Oh, Jeremiah Morton, the hard-charging Jeremiah Morton might have something to say about those podium positions. So I'll no doubt have to shake up the points again tonight after we go off air to finalise those results, Bernie.
And looking at the biggest mover tonight, folks, Bart Martinovic, there you go, up 6 positions. He takes the biggest mover. The biggest shaker tonight is Dennis Johansson, down 9 positions from where he started. And speaking of big movers, we have Jeremiah Morton in the green room, waiting to come up and have a chat.
Yeah, I see the crowd in the in the chat looking forward to hearing from Jeremiah. Do you want to speak to him, or do you want me to go?
Well, while you speak to him, I'm just going to go and lock the doors in case any of these people decide they want to come in and join the conversation.
Yeah, no worries. I'll bring him up now. Jeremiah, Alex McKellar here, mate. Welcome to the RRTV commentary booth. Well, that was quite a finish, wasn't it, mate? How do you describe that into what was a pretty amazing race?
Hey Alex, and hey Bernie. Yeah, that was something intense. That finish there pretty much summed up the season. It was just a big final ending, and a brilliant race to cap off the season.
Yeah, I described what you and Luke were going through as a race within a race. I mentioned that you two were fighting it out for the ANZ Club top official point scorer for the season. Do you know how that ended up?
I'm not sure yet. I think we'll find out once we check the results. But yeah, me and Luke were separated by 5 points coming into that race, and I said to him before the race, I said, "May the best man win." And yeah, it was an amazing battle. I had to try and catch him throughout that race, knowing that I had to finish in front of him. So I literally just stayed behind the pack until it really mattered, and then came in the last couple of laps and just tried to hit my marks and try and stay right on the back of them until the last straight where came together.
Well, on that front, from what I can tell, you've picked up 238 points for that race. The strength of field out of interest was 41.47, so second highest for the week, which is fantastic once again for Monday Night Lights. Luke picking up 210 points, so there's a 28 point differential there, and depending on drop rounds, mate, it certainly goes in your favour. But tell us about that last corner. You know, the way I called it on the race, it was probably a misjudgment of the inside line for braking there, mate. Looked like you collected Josh Anderson in the rear left, and that more or less did the 7-9 split with the other guys there and opened the way for yourself. How did you see it?
Yeah, I have to apologise to Josh for the contact there, but I was coming up on the right hand side, and then I knew the inside was the better place to be. You usually get chucked out on the outside onto the grass, so I put on the inside, got past Luke, got past the other, it was Andrew on the outside, went on the inside, and then Josh, really slowed up on the inside of the corner, didn't hug the apex that well, and I was expecting him to come a little bit across so that the boys wouldn't have a run on the outside. And so, he caught me off guard with the braking, and I locked up a little bit. That meant my braking capacity wasn't as good as it could have been. It came in the back of Josh. So I'm sorry for that, Josh.
Yeah, an unfortunate end, mate. Obviously, a good result for yourself there. And the guys, whilst I no doubt they'd be disappointed with not having their shot at the win, they still managed second through fourth, so not an entire loss out of it, mate. But look, it was a fantastic race throughout. A lot of action throughout the field. Actually, a couple of packs broke up once the fur started to fly, so to speak. But congratulations on the win, mate. I'd suggest you might have gone a long way to securing that club championship, and probably inside the top 10 of this season overall, mate. So congratulations on a great season and the win here tonight.
Thanks, Alex. I'd like to just thank, on the behalf of all the Skippy drivers for this season, just like to thank you and Bernie, and for Redback Racing TV broadcast of the Monday Night Lights. You guys have done a brilliant job all season, and we really appreciate it as drivers. So well done, guys, and thanks.
Yeah, I'll let Bernie answer that, mate. He's the principal of this show. He does a fantastic job. But before we let you go, Bernie, you got any questions, mate? Sorry to cut you off.
No, the only question I was going to have was a cheeky one, and that was to Jeremiah. Did he think that move was on?
Oh, well and truly. As a racing driver, if you see the gap, you got to go for it, as Art and Senna says.
That's it. So fantastic, Jeremiah. It was a great race tonight. I was watching you on the last lap coming over the mountain, and I said you started to look racy up there, and you certainly didn't disappoint. So congratulations. A win's a win, mate. And yeah, hopefully we're going to see you back next season for the Monday Night Lights. I know it'll be back on RRTV, and I'm definitely looking forward to calling it, because the action on Monday nights, how could you miss it?
Yeah, that's right. I don't think anybody can miss it. And if they're missing out on it right now, they shouldn't be. So, yep.
Exactly it. All right, mate, have a good week off, and no doubt we'll see you hopefully back on Monday Night Lights when we resume. There you go.
Thanks, Bernie.
And folks, looking at the week ahead, yes, it is a rest week for most of you people, but not for RRTV. Join us Thursday night for the Thursday Night Thunder. And yep, we're going oval racing with the NASCAR, and we're going to be doing some truck racing on Thursday night. Well, I'm not going to be doing any truck racing. I'm going to be calling all the action as all the NASCAR boys from the ANSCAR series takes to the track. That'll be from 8:25 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. For those joining us on iRacing Live, check the guides there for your local time, but it'd be fantastic to have you join us. And then I guess Saturday night is the next one, which will be the Asia Pacific GTE series. I think we're coming down to 2 rounds now, Alex, and the Caterham is still all to play for.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. What a prize that would be, eh? Getting some time and a seat time in that would be an amazing thing to take out. But there's certainly plenty to play for there. Just speaking of plenty to play for, I've just got some results from around the ground, so to speak. Daryl Ridley's taken out the second split tonight. Congratulations to Daryl. He has a tendency when he gets bumped from the top split to do remarkably well in the second split, taking it out from Juan Aragones and Mick Gray. Not making the top split tonight, but making a great fist of it, rounding out the podium there. Plenty of our regular top split runners there in the second split. Unfortunately for Dennis Fiedler, who was eyeing off a top 3 finish this season in the Monday Lights, he's finished all the way down in P10 in quite a strong field. A 2200 soft there for the second split is remarkable in of itself. Can I tell you, even the top split, the top soft of this week, Bernie, was the US strength of field race, and they managed a remarkable 4900 strength of field, but they only even then managed 3 splits. We had 4 great races going on here tonight, Bernie, so once again talking to the strength of the local skippy community here down in the Southern Hemisphere, and once again providing us with a great show.
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic, and a big thanks out to the Australian skippy community for getting behind this great series and making it what it is, because if they didn't buy into it, we wouldn't be sitting here tonight calling it, that's for sure.
Yeah, you're 100% right, Bernie. My thanks also to all the drivers who make the Skip Barber community what it is. You know, if I look at the participation this year, Bernie, we had, I'm just trying to see the number now. It's a long way to scroll down. 338 unique participants in the Monday Night Lights. Now, a lot of those just come in for the 1 week and may not necessarily know what it's all about week to week, Bernie. But the regulars here who keep coming back week after week, they build up the strength of field, they put on great displays, they make the racing fantastic, which brings people back, builds this great platform, gets more people involved, and just increases the strength and the community, the strength of the community itself. So my big thanks and appreciation goes out to the regulars who make this what it is, and also to yourself, Bernie, for helping us have this great platform again to bring such great action to the people at home, and hopefully get more bums on seats on the track as well.
Yeah, that's the plan, and big shout out to all the international viewers who've joined us tonight. Really appreciate your company, and a shout out especially to George Gibbs Jr. He said he loves watching our broadcast here, and he starts his day. So hopefully you're having a nice breakfast over there, George, and thanks for joining us once again, mate.
Yeah, great to see the interaction here. It's a wonderful thing about online esports. You know, you get that live interaction that you don't often get in traditional media, and it's a great part of what we have in iRacing and online esports more broadly, Bernie. So great platform, great action, and a lot of fun at the same time.
Yeah, it certainly is. And now I've got to do something before we go off air. Yeah, I found it good. That's how pro I am, Alex. I've just got it all down pat here, mate.
Well, mate, after so long, it should all just come so naturally, right?
One would think. Yeah, it's I'll just, yep, you know what that is, folks, don't you? Yeah, so anyway, folks, thanks for joining us tonight, and thanks, Alex, for calling the season again with me tonight. Of course, you're going to be back Sunday night, aren't you? Because I think you've got the final round of the Australasian Super Skips coming up.
Yeah, that's right, Bernie. Something different. We're out at Daytona Road Circuit. From memory, it's a night race. So yeah, that'll be on Top Split TV at the Top Split YouTube channel. It'll be delayed broadcast. I don't have the bandwidth to do it live, unfortunately, and produce a quality outcome. So keep an eye out for that. It's the final round of the season. Luke Whitten once again looking to take that one out from memory, and it's a really high standard of racing there. Another great community there within the community. And a lot of fun at the same time. So looking forward to that one, and those of you watching here tonight, make sure you check that one out as well.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch, that's for sure. But until Thursday night, hopefully, folks, when you come back to watch some NASCAR action, hope you have a great work week. Yeah, work week. How can it be great? It'll be great, guys. Just think about spending time in your sim and you'll get through it sweet. But until Thursday night, folks, have a great weekend. Thanks, Alex, for joining me, mate, and good night to everyone else.